This is gonna take crackerjack timing, Wang.
Total concentration. You ready, Jack?
I was born ready.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. We've been talking a lot about the financial implications of COVID-19 coronavirus on a lot of the entities in the entertainment industry. But there are some companies that are doing very well right now that are surviving through the crisis that we're going through. And one of them is Amazon, who's actually has a pretty successful business model at this moment in time. And here to talk with me kind of about the way Amazon runs their business and how they got here is my good friend Tiberius. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty great. We did have news today that it looks like Amazon's kind of in the process of maybe merging or acquiring AMC theaters. So they've been, growing their tentacles within the entertainment industry, obviously with Amazon Prime and things like that. Whereas they began essentially as an e-commerce site, they've really grown exponentially over the years. How were they able to do that?
Amazon, under the leadership of Jeff Bezos, copied a business model that was kind of made popular by Elon Musk. The idea behind this is that you don't actually have to run a profitable business from the start if you can continuously capitalize that business to the point where you can stay functional and operational and hook in enough customers to where you can start turning a profit. We saw this happen with Tesla because Tesla to this day has never turned a profit, yet despite that, it's been able to continue operation, not just because of the enormous tax subsidies that it gets, but also because they've oversold and overcapitalized their stock sales for several years. And furthermore, the stock of Tesla fluctuates based on Elon Musk tweets. So you're looking at a company that's never turned a profit, and yet at the same time, their stock is worth hundreds of dollars a share.
Public confidence is really high in them because of the Elon Musk factor that everyone thinks he's a genius, and he's taking Tesla to new heights, even though they haven't really gone anywhere.
Right, exactly. And if you look back at the history of Amazon, when it first started as an online retailer, it never turned a profit either. But at the same time, people were, infatuated with the idea of being able to buy all their stuff online and not actually have to go stand in a line or deal with a crowd at a store or a shopping mall. And so, people were willing to continuously buy into the company. And so they kept selling stock. That stock price kept going up. And so they maintained enough capital to stay in operation, even while suffering continuous by the book losses. This worked out for them, long enough for them to diversify their business model and start video streaming and subscription services and things like that produced the high value, low cost items that actually turned them into a profitable business over time.
Those losses were actually by design. They were essentially selling products, lower than cost than you could buy anywhere. And actually they were kind of lower than it cost them to acquire them initially. So they were selling things at a loss off on day one, just to put pressure on brick and mortar mom and pop businesses, and to kind of put them under to where people they no longer had an option to go to the store down the street. That, Amazon was essentially your local retailer.
Correct. Yeah, there's thousands of examples, of products you could look at where Amazon not only sold them for, below retail, they sold them for below wholesale. So they were actually losing money just acquiring the product to sell it in the first place. Like you said, that they did that to drive out competition, to make sure that no one could edge in on their market. And they diversified the amount of products that they were offering in that manner to the point where anyone who could have operated a successful online business, unless you offer a very, very specialized or personalized product, there's no way you could compete with them because, they could Walmart you. No matter how low you drive your price, they'll drive their price even lower, and they'll eat that loss as long as they have to put you out of business.
Yeah, this is very predatory in nature. And for quite a few years, I believe, it was almost like a decade before they ever actually turned a profit. Investor confidence was always high in the company. Do you think that was all, was that Jeff Bezos and the way he sold the company? Or do you think it was just the idea of Amazon, the e-commerce king, that really sold investors to keep coming into the company despite the heavy losses year after year.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff Bezos was anything special. I mean, if you look at Alibaba, the Chinese version of Amazon, and how successful it was, I think anyone who started this kind of business with significant financial backing, the way he had when he opened it, would have had the same success. Whoever was the first one to light this match was going to carry that torch. And it just so happened to be him. I mean, any other company who had done the same thing first, they would be Amazon instead of, what is Amazon now. People have been infatuated with, growing technology and convenience for a long time. And when, Amazon first really popularized the idea of being able to do all your shopping online, that was bound to captivate, a huge customer base for a long time. Obviously, which it has. I mean, they've been in business running successfully for years, and people just continuously switch to buying things from them. And people continue to shop from Amazon, even if they don't like Amazon or even if they don't like Amazon's leadership. I mean, I don't like Jeff Bezos. I think he's a communist piece of scum, but I still buy stuff from Amazon because it's the most convenient thing to do and they have the best price.
Yeah, it's almost like what Netflix did to the home entertainment industry. You used to go to your Blockbuster Video or your Hollywood and you would rent your movies, but once Netflix was there, you could essentially get your videos sent to you at home, and then they offered the streaming package. And then within a few years, everything else was obsolete because Americans, Westerners, in general, we value convenience, we value our time, and really offering those time savers on a huge scale like that was just a game changer. And really anybody who entered the market probably was going to be successful.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they started to take some more risk. I mean, he's been so successful with the retail side of it. He started to branch out into other areas where he's actually going to run into competition, or he already has run into competition, like with his streaming video service. Netflix is his biggest competitor, and still, I think, even now has a good bit more subscribers than Amazon Video does. So he's getting braver. I mean, this may have something to do with his attempt to purchase AMC, the largest theater chain in the world. He may be looking to expand into a market where there's some risk involved because not as many people go to the movie theater anymore. But at the same time, if he can revitalize it by offering a new or innovative type of product at the movie theater, and also gain additional subscribers and possibly ad revenue from forcing people who go to those theaters to have to watch, Amazon sponsored material, it could end up working out for him. We talked about this before. I think, it's not movie theaters themselves that are going under. It's Hollywood that's going under. People still enjoy going to the movie theater, even though it's far more convenient for them to, watch TV and movies at home. Still like to get out of the house every once in a while and go do something, go watch a movie on a huge screen. So I don't think theaters themselves will go away. And I think, Jeff Bezos is smart enough to know that. So he's looking to pick up a movie theater chain that's, in a very bad position financially so that he can buy them on the cheap and then do what he wants to do with it and at least, generate additional revenue off of that in the long run.
So one of the things that you mentioned earlier that's been a part of their strategy that's really successful is their subscription model, to where they essentially bundle things up and force you to use more of their services because they're now at a bigger discount, or maybe the shipping on all your products is free now. So now, when you look at the deal, you don't even have to worry about, that shipping fee that you wouldn't occur if you went down to the Walmart down the street, or, I paid for this, but now I have a streaming service. Do I really need Netflix? By bundling all these subscription services together, creating an even more convenient factor, just basically coerces customers to just consume more of his products. It's ingenious.
Absolutely. I mean, when they started offering free 2-day shipping for Prime members, I mean, that was a stroke of genius and a lethal stroke to a lot of traditional retailers. Because, one thing that held people back was from switching completely over to online retail was having to wait for a product to arrive and having to pay for that shipping. They eliminated the need to pay for the shipping, and they reduced the shipping time to 2 days, which is pretty much acceptable for most people unless they're in some kind of, dire need for a product right this second. So, I mean,
and they even have same day shipping depending on your location now.
absolutely. And, this is an opportunity to talk about something else that, Amazon's doing where they're capitalizing on an opportunity because, with all the COVID-19 restrictions preventing people from going out, Amazon, while everyone's been stuck at home, has been slowly but surely increasing their autonomous delivery service. So you've got here in Virginia, actually, where I'm at, in Fairfax County, there are mobile ground-based drones rolling down the sidewalk delivering Amazon products to people's houses. Now, a year and a half ago, those things were an experiment that was performed in one city in the middle of nowhere in Washington State. That experiment obviously worked, or at least it worked well enough for Amazon to assume the risk of doing it on a larger scale, because now those little, ice cooler sized robots are rolling down the sidewalk delivering things. It's not going to be long before Amazon has dumped enough money and enough development into airborne drone delivery systems to where that will no longer be, a novelty that you might be close enough to a warehouse that has drones somewhere that maybe you get something delivered by drone. They're going to be delivering a majority of their products by drone probably over the next 5 years. So they're definitely good at recognizing opportunities and capitalizing on them through a combination of massive investment through all the cash they're sitting on and technological innovation.
One of the interesting things I've known is like public sentiment, maybe public understanding of what Amazon is, and kind of their strategies when they enter markets, or they don't realize just how very aggressive they are to put other people out of business. Obviously I'm a comic book mostly channel here, and I've heard a lot of people say that, why isn't Amazon like the online distribution center for comics, to where that's where like retailers and stuff order from, and then Amazon would deliver their comics. I was like, Amazon doesn't like brick and mortar. They feel like local retailers are their adversary. They would never accept that. They would just want to put the retailers out of business and deliver to you directly. You don't want Amazon to step into a lane that's in an industry that you're a part of, because they will try to eat you alive and spit you out.
Oh, of course. You're right. That's against Amazon's business model. It took years for them to decide they wanted to have, those brick and mortars headquarters in New York and Northern Virginia. And even still, they recognize that that's a cost sink for them. One of the ways they're able to, stay so profitable is because they've eliminated the cost of maintaining brick and mortar stores. And that cost is astronomical. People don't realize how much expense goes into keeping a physical building open, keeping it stocked with employees who, by the way, are becoming more and more expensive as time goes on, with increases in minimum wage and increases in cost of living. You have to continuously pay human beings more and more money, and it's just not worth it to them to do that when they already have a massive online customer base. So if they move into some other business, you can bet your bottom dollar that their goal is gonna be to shut down all of the brick and mortar versions of that and have everyone switch to getting it from them online.
It's kind of weird how the public sentiment or understanding of their business model and the way that they attack markets is much different than the actuality. But we are seeing some very positive things. The convenience factor as far as of ordering. Amazon Prime, you're getting all these subscription bundles. As a customer, it's good for us, to a point. It's not good for the competition, but they're also expanding out. You talked a little bit about their drone technology. That's where they're really making the biggest gains and really the most interesting, exciting additions to their business model is technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the high tech society we live in, the guy with the newest and most impressive and most convenient, technical gadget is the guy who's going to be, making his next $1 million. Amazon, Google, Facebook, they all recognize that, which is why they have dumped so many billions of dollars into just continuously innovating new things. They're not even necessarily concerned about, innovating new products in one particular field. They just want to have new stuff. As long as they have new stuff to constantly show people, look, we can offer you some new thing that does this, some new thing that does that. it's another product for them to start pumping out and making money off of. And people always want to buy the newest, most convenient thing, especially if it's not expensive. Um, a lot of people have been buying commercial drones, to play with for years now. And now it's become, something that can be used on an industrial scale. And that was made possible by companies just putting out drones as toys and people continuously buying them so that they could continue developing that technology from those profits and make it into something that's even bigger and more profitable. So, also, as technology grows, more and more of these companies are becoming interdependent. Amazon wants to be able to deliver products by drone everywhere, but no matter how good their drones are, no matter how convenient they can make the service, it can't function on a large scale without the cooperation of other industries. Like you'd need a serious communications or telecommunications network for a large scale drone delivery operation, and Amazon's not going to do that because that's not their business. They don't have any experience, building or establishing or maintaining that type of network. So what they're going to rely on is AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile and the other large cell phone providers to build those networks for them, and then they're going to operate their drone network off of that network. So the push for continuous technological innovation is not just an Amazon push; it's an economy-wide push. That is growing by factors of billions of dollars a day.
Speaking of billions of dollars, we do look at the entertainment industry here, and there are a lot of entities out there that are their cash to debt ratios are really off, where they have massive amounts of debt and little bit of liquidity. There's two real exceptions that are kind of in the entertainment industry. I was talking to my friend Nalo a few weeks ago, like, if they really wanted to be major players in entertainment, they could buy their own movie studio. No problems asked, no questions asked, with cash. Whereas, Disney had to take out a massive loan to acquire Fox. AT&T had to go into lots of debt to acquire Time Warner. But Amazon is just sitting in such an amazing position capital-wise to really jump into a market like entertainment that is really down right now because of COVID-19 coronavirus. Do you see them jumping even more in there? We're hearing the rumors, obviously, about AMC. Why wouldn't they want to acquire a movie studio right now?
The pandemic situation has created a lot of uncertainty, and no business likes to operate in uncertainty. I mean, there's been plenty of examples in history of massive companies that were, supposedly too big to fail that have collapsed because of
AOL.
Exactly, because of poor decision making and failure to maintain adaptation with the market. So, I mean, Amazon may be planning on doing quite a few things. There's no reason that they would sit and accumulate that much cash, without doing anything with it, unless they had plans to do something. I don't think they're going to be doing anything major like that right now because of all the uncertainty created by the pandemic. Once things start to go back to normal, people start, beginning and resuming their normal routines, and you get more of a sense of what the new normal is going to be. That's when you're probably going to see them make some major moves. And in terms of movie studio, they already own a movie studio. I mean, they already make, their own original content. Buying a movie theater would give them the ability to put out their own original content in a format that no other streaming service provides, because you can't watch a Netflix produced movie in a movie theater. But you may in the future be able to watch an Amazon produced movie in a movie theater. And while you're there, you're going to be purchasing concessions, the profits of which will go to Amazon. You're going to be watching Amazon ads for their TV shows, for their delivery service, for whatever other business they decide to get into. As they start building out more and more technological networks to maintain their increasing delivery service business, there's opportunities there for them to buy into other types of products and services that rely on those networks. Amazon may be offering an entirely, unrecognizable range of products over the next 2 or 3 years.
A lot of things on the horizon. We have no idea what it all is. Tiberius, I really appreciate you coming on the channel talking about, Amazon and kind of the business structure and some of the ways that they attack markets. I think it's been really informational. Do you have anything else that we need to say before you wrap this up?
No, I think I'm good. Unless you have any questions for me, I'm always happy to come on here and talk about what I know, and I appreciate you having me.
Well, I do appreciate it. Of course, if you did enjoy this conversation and you want us to talk about another company, be it Disney, you want us to talk about Google, whoever, whether they're in entertainment, technology, let us know. And I'm hoping to bring Tiberius on the show, once, twice, maybe 3 times a month. Who knows? Maybe it'll be weekly. We'll see where it goes. But if you enjoy this, let us know in the comments and let us know what you want us to talk about next.